Alrighty, so for our last problem here, you'll notice that on this table of data, I've already created some additional uh, columns here. If I were you, I would go ahead and do that as well. Create two additional columns here off to the right-hand side because we're going to need those in order to create the residuals, um, and you'll see why in just a second. Basically what we have, so before you do that, go ahead and create those tables for me, those columns. Press pause if you need to, and create those additional columns on the end. I'm going to call the first column I added here the predicted, right? This is going to be my predicted amount, all right, that I'm trying to find. And then once I find that predicted amount, I'm then going to be able to calculate the residual amounts. Okay, so those are going to be my two additional columns here. Let's see why. Basically, what we have is we have a table of data, and that data has a bunch of guys, their shoe sizes. So we have Tyrone, Marcel, Patrick, Bobby, Dylan, Mike, and Jonathan. We have their shoe sizes there in that first column, and then their ages in the second column. Okay, so we're going to basically try to predict how old somebody is based on how big their shoe size is. Okay, so first things first, bust out your calculator. We need our line of best fit. So if you notice, I've already gone ahead and I've already gone and typed in my data here. So I've got my data already typed in from the question. And once I've got my data typed in, now I need to find my line of best fit. So if I'm going to find my line of best fit, I'm going to press Stat. I'm going to go over to Calc and down to line 4. We're getting good at this right by now, I hope. Hit Enter, Calculate, and here we are. So my line of best fit in this case is 1.126, yada, yada, yada. And my B value is 4.097. So I'm going to write that off to the side here. I'm going to round to the nearest 10th or 100th. So that would be 1.126. If I rounded, let's make sure that was 1.126. Yes, 1.126. So y equals 1.126x plus, what was my b value? Or b value, you can see it right there at the bottom of the screen. I'll pull that up, was 4.097. So I'll go with that, 4.097, okay, plus 4.097, okay? So now that we've got our line of best fit, now we're going to take that like we've always done, and we're going to plug it into the y equals screen, okay? So I'll pull that graphing calculator back up, click y equals. Let's clear out the old data that was there, and let's type it in. 1.126 x plus 4.097. All right, there's our equation. Now we're going to need it to start making predictions because we want to fill in this entire middle column here. If we're going to fill in that middle column, we're going to use the graphing calculator to make those predictions. So let's go ahead and from here, go second graph. That pulls up our table. And the first prediction that we look at is the shoe size of 6. What was the age of someone that was 6 years old? So look at your table. If you look at your table, I'm going to go down here to 6. And our shoe size, we're going to have to estimate here, but that's about 10.853. I'm going to run in the nearest 10th, so 10.9. All right, so 10.9. So let's write that in. So our first predicted amount for size 6 is 10.9. And look at that, the next one's also 6, so I'm going to go ahead and write it in, 10.9. All right, the next one was size 7. Well, there we go. You can see it there, 11.97. That's going to round all the way up to size 12. So, or age 12 rather, age 12. So if we come back here, this would be age 12. All right, Bobby wears size 8. So if we look at size 8 would be right here. Let's scroll down. Size 8 would be 13.1. So I'm going to go with 13.105, which is just 13.1. Okay, so that's 13.1 years old. Then if you're wearing size 9 shoes, size 9 is 14.23. So there we go, 14.2 if I round. Size 10 shoes. So size 10 shoes, if we scroll down a little bit more, size 10 shoes would be right there. You can see 15.35. If I round, that'd be 15.4. So 15.4. And last but not least, if you're wearing size 12 would be you expected to be around the age of 17.6. So 17.6. Awesome. Okay, we've got our predicted amounts. So now let's remind ourselves, how do we find the residual? The residual, like we talked about in the last video, is the actual amount minus the predicted. Okay, so if we do actual minus predicted, in that very first example, we're going to end up doing the actual age was 9. The predicted age was 10.9. That equals negative 1.9. So my residual is going to be negative 1.9. And we're just going to do that for every single one. So 11 minus 10.9, that actually is just a positive 0.1. 15 minus 12, that's 3. 11 minus 13.1, that's going to be negative 2.1. 15 minus 14.2, that's going to be 0.8. Okay. 16 minus 15.4, 0.6. And last but not least, 17 minus that would give me negative 0.6. Okay, awesome. Hopefully you did those on your own. You didn't just copy them down from me. But here, those are all my residuals. Let's see why in the world I had to do that in the first place. The question that's actually being asked is, what percent, so we know it's going to be a percent, of boys' ages is more than 1 year different from the age predicted? That's it right there. More than 1 year different. The year difference, the 1 year different, that is quote unquote residual. Okay? We're looking for which one of those green residuals is more than 1 year. So more than 1 year different. We've got to look for the numbers that are greater than 1 or less than negative 1. Remember, it can be negative or positive. So this very first one meets the criteria. Negative 1.9, you were more than 1 year away. 0.1 does not. 3 definitely does. Negative 2.1 definitely does. Okay? 0.8 does not. 0.6 does not. And negative 0.6, all of those are within or under 1 year different. So how many did we have that met the criteria? We count them up right here. 1, 2, 3. So 3 of them met the criteria. Okay, that's very important. So 3 meet the criteria of what's being asked. Well, how do I find a percentage? We find that percentage by dividing that number by our total. What's our total in this case? So 3 met the criteria. What is our total in this case? Well, it said it at the very top there. You have 7 boys, or just count up how many you have in the table. So divide that by 7. So 3 divided by 7, let's bust out our calculator to make that happen. Go to the main screen. All right. So on that main screen, here we go. 3 divided by 7 gives me 0.428. Okay. So if I come back here, that equals 0.428, which is approximately 43%. And there's your answer. All right, folks, keep up the good work. You should be on to your study guide now. Talk to you soon. See you Monday.